5th meeting, and last time we were talking a lot about, I was just making notes, here this PR where we were trying to stay in sync between the OCP repo and the Dash repo, and so we had a couple of PRs where a fix was made, and so I guess PR 1813 was put in to make sure we had fixes for the test framework, and then they updated the reference point, and this is the fix here. And so I was wondering maybe if Reshma or someone from the SONiC team could go over this quickly for everybody else on the call.
So as we know, the Dash PTF involved quite a bit of test framework changes, etc., to make the device not automatically assume 32 ports or 64 ports as a switch would, but instead actually dynamically derive the number of ports, and all the test cases for SAI underlay, etc., were ported to make it work on the IPU DPU devices. So there was a breakage in the SAI, and so we couldn't update the OCP SAI ref point in our Dash to point to get the top of tree SAI code as a submodule where our Dash PTF changes have already been merged, so that we can utilize that in our overlay test cases and Dash test cases and Dash CI, etc. So that fix has been made, as Christina mentioned, with 1813, PR 1813. And since it was merged, there's another PR that we created that will actually point the move the ref point to OCP master end of June. So now the OCP SAI is what we are going to refer to, and then we no longer refer to the fork that I had earlier as an intermediate step to getting everything into SAI. And yeah, so that is completed now. And I think I merged that change yesterday. So it should all be. Vincent had asked for that.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
So I think this can be closed right now, right? Is there any further items on this? Okay.
No more further items. We can close it.
Right. So
So Christina, I have 2 PRs to discuss today. Okay. Yeah. Just
so can 388 also be closed here, Reshma? This Okay. I can go ahead and close it then after the call. So I'll do that. Okay. I'll go ahead, Prince. What were we going to say?
Oh, I said I have 2 PRs to discuss today. So
okay, great. All right.
But is there any other thing from your side, Krishna? Or
no, you go ahead. You're more important than I am. So
no, not like that. Okay. So yeah, I think I have one main update is about like moving our SONiC SWSS, which is currently maintained as a private or not part of the master. It's called it's in the Dash branch. So we wanted to move all those changes which we developed for Dash to master repo, and for that the first criteria or first prerequisite is to discuss the SONiC Dash HLD in the SONiC community, and as part of that we have the request is to move the Dash SONiC HLD to SONiC HLD repo. So from Dash to SONiC HLD repo. So just wanted to let the community know about that.
That would be great. So Prince, did you mention it's already presented into the
No.
Okay.
So I requested for this migration of dash branch of SONiC SWSS to master, and this came up as a point, like we need to first discuss in the SONiC community, and then we can move to master. So I didn't get a slot yet for the discussion in SONiC community, but again, like they like the SONiC community HLDs are, you know, right? It's tracked in a different repo. So
Who was the
No, that didn't
requester in the SONiC community requesting to move that over?
So Yanzhao, Xin, and Gohan. So those are the folks. Now Yanzhao is handling the SONiC community meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
So,
he always has. He's been the PM for a couple of years now.
Yeah. So
Right.
I wanted to move this SONiC SWSS to master, right? And that's when all this conversation came up.
And so what are the ramifications of moving it over there, just for my own knowledge, because I don't know.
I think it's only the dash SONiC HLD that we wanted to move to.
So it wouldn't live here anymore? It wouldn't live in our repo anymore?
I think the
Or we just
concern
link
is
it?
like, we may want to link it. That's right. Because we don't want to keep it in.
We wouldn't keep it here?
Yeah, we don't. Probably we can have a link from here to SONiC repo.
Okay.
The master copy will now reside in SONiC.
Would it reside in its own dash HLD, or would it be incorporated into an overall SONiC HLD?
No,
has
I
to
think we
be
can. Yeah,
separate.
it will be separate. Yeah, it will be separate dash HLD.
Okay, with just a pointer. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyone on the call have a Q&A about that?
I got a general question about what pieces are missing for SONiC build with Dash. That's one thing. And the second thing is SONiC for DPUs will be, I believe, a subset, right? It's not the full thing. It's just probably the side radius and very limit a portion of the overall SONiC. So will the build, if that's correct, will there be information somewhere once all the pieces are in the SONiC to build the DPU only SONiC image?
Yeah, I
makes
think
sense.
yes, I understand the point, Vincent. Yeah, today it is like SONiC SAI Redis, SWSS, and build image. And we are also trying to build a virtual switch image. So I think the instructions are missing, but we'll try to update it for DPU in the SONiC build image. So already there are instructions for some platforms. So I think once we have all these set, we can update the build instructions in SONiC build image.
Because the only thing missing is the SW move to master. That's it, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, and also some build image changes, right? Because we need to build with a different metadata for DPUs. That's also not in place today.
But that is in the pipeline, forecasted in the pipeline, right?
Yes. So once we have the SWSS and SAI Redis part of master, then then it will be like minimal changes to build.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
What's the second one, Prince, that you had?
So SAI Redis is already in master now, but SWSS is where all the core changes for Dash scenarios are implemented. That's in Dash branch. So that's what you're asking, right? What is the other
you said
repo?
you had two things you wanted to discuss. So I got
okay. Yeah. Now I
one.
think coming back to the PR, so I need to close two PRs before we can do this HLD migration. So one is on the first one, which is a clarification of tagging and metering. It's basically if you can open that. Yeah, so one of the feedback that even we got during the initial discussion of ACL tagging is to use a list instead of a bitmap. So I think now when we did further analysis of the tag implementation, it seems like a list is a more convenient way. So I just changed the requirements from bitmap to list, and that's one change, and the other one is on the metering to to resolve the priority across policy, routing, and mapping. So that's also a one-liner change to clarify the priority. Yeah. So maybe the first one, use a list instead of bitmap for ACL tagging. Yeah.
Please, what is the exact change in the metering, please?
Oh, you can click on the files changed.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the first one.
This here, 142.
Yeah, 142. I think it was already there specifying about an override flag, but
User shall be able to override the precedence by setting override flag, takes higher precedence. Can you guys read this?
Yeah, so basically if override flag is set, then mapping takes precedence over routing and policy, irrespective of the default priority. So like line number 141 says about a default priority, right? Which is first is policy, then is route, then is mapping. But if the override flag is set in the mapping, then that takes priority over both routing and policy. Because earlier I was not mentioning about policy in this statement. So there was a confusion whether override flag will only override routing metering, or it also overrides policy.
Yeah, I think this brings it in line with the current implementation in BNB2 as well.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Vijay. The second section is about the, yeah, maybe I can just quickly go over. Yeah, so basically I just changed the bitmap part to a list. So
195 and 6.
Yeah, this whole section is about.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was previously maintained as a bitmap, but or
you can give an example. Yeah.
Yeah, those were all previously there, but just that I changed everything from a bitmap model to a list model. So.
So Vincent, we were talking about this a lot a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but it's been a few weeks ago.
Okay, all right. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, you were worried about, 32 versus 4,000 scale, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. So I think those are kind of resolved here. So it's no longer any limit or something. So yeah.
Okay. And was there a second PR you wanted to look at,
second PR also. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So this one, yeah, please feel free to give me any comments if there are any for the first one. The second is that third in the list, right? The fast path design requirements. So this one is about the more on the requirements of fastpath. A detailed design of fastpath is going to come as a separate PR or document, because fastpath is actually is a major scenario, and we already have a document on fastpath. Like Krishna, if you can open the load balancer, right?
Yeah.
So that's the main like explaining the scenario. So I'm just converting that to a more detailed level of how the packet formatting looks like. So yeah, I think it's the load balance service.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
brain. Yeah.
And load balancer v3.md. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This document, yeah, I have provided a link to this document in my PR, so that way the scenario is explained here. Yeah, this is basically like, Mux is sending an ICMP redirect message so that the VM1, when it wants to communicate to backend services, it doesn't have to go through a public or an SLB Mux. Instead, it can change its own source and destination IPs to the PA address. So that way the communications after the initial ones will be direct, right? So this
Right.
is the document on explaining scenario and what all are the considerations. Like if you scroll down, it has the explanation of how it works and those things. Maybe scroll down a bit as well. Yeah, and then we have this document also captures the packet signature, right? So how the ICMP redirect packet looks like. Yeah, scroll
ICMP
down.
redirect is one thing, but are there going to be any additional lookups that we need to incorporate in the dash pipeline for the return
Yes.
packet?
Yes, so that's what so this is talking about how the ICMP redirect packet looks like, and my PR is all about like explaining this different fields, right? Like if you go back to the PR files changed. Yeah, so basically, yeah, the different fields in the ICMP packet and how we can identify the flow which matches to that fast path flow by looking into different fields of the redirect packet. But like I mentioned, like this is at a high level requirement, but there will be more details coming in the fast path design document, because this is not a small feature. So this will require like ACL tagging. This is also a major feature. So we'll go through the detailed design of FastPath later, but
Okay.
Yeah, this one basically is converting the other document, which we already have, to to explain what are the different fields and how we can identify the flow and those things.
Got it. So there'll be more discussion on this as a feature.
As a feature, yes, there will be more
Okay.
discussion, but this is like basically at a requirement level, what we need to achieve by the ICMP redirect. And so once we have the agreement on the packet format, right, the detailed design can consider that as a standard.
Okay.
And then from that standard of attributes, we can identify the phi tuple for identifying the flow. So yeah, I think
Right,
one of the thing.
It will need an aggregate mapping table for the SNAT DNAT on the return. That was thought earlier, so there'll be an additional table.
Yeah, and I think I replied to all the comments and marked resolved. The one that I didn't resolve was Chris's comment.
At the bottom, or
No, the one that you are showing. So basically,
the one I was showing. Sorry.
Yeah,
the struct.
Yeah.
What is the relevance of showing some C structs? Chris, was there more?
What was there more from me? Sorry.
Yeah, more that you needed here.
No, it just seems like a funny thing to put implementation code in the specification. I'm not sure if anyone's going to use that or not, or if it's just an illustration.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, Chris, the packet payload contains this struct format, so that's why I just put it like that. And after that, I also explained in the bottom what are these fields for. Like before your comment, it was not there. So if you scroll down a bit, Christina, so I explained the struct in this format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just as a alternative thought, I mean, just something to think about. You know, P4 is actually appropriate language for showing header fields if you ever want to use that instead of C, because it actually describes packets very well. But that's fine. I'm sure each software engineer can make sense of this.
Okay, yeah, then I will mark that also resolved.
Thanks, Prince.
All right, yeah, so that's all.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Did anyone else have a PR or something they wanted to share?
There was an issue open about the SAI meta out of libsai. It's issue 395.
395, yes. This one.
Yeah, and I did spend a little bit of work on it. I if you scroll down to the bottom, I've got a long post there.
Yeah.
So I went and revisited this. It's been quite a while since I've worked in this area, and the ask was to not require vendor implementations of libsai to have the SAI meta compiled into it, because it's only needed for SAIThrift server for test harness. It's not needed for production. So
Right.
I went back and did an experimental branch where I took it out of libsai, and what you get is a build error in the SAIThrift server. And what I think this is this really is a function of how SAIThrift server is built, and it's in the make files of that. It's not really a dash issue. It's more of a SAIThrift server issue. So I did an experimental branch and put some comments there that if someone wants to try to take the next step and see if they can figure out a way to compile SAIThrift server and get the meta in that stage instead of the libsai stage. So to back up, there's kind of two-step process. One is we compile libsai, in this case for dash, and then we link it with the SAIThrift server code. And the SAIThrift server code saying, hey, I need these SAI meta object modules. They're missing. I can't finish the final link. And if those are only needed for SAIThrift server, I would think they need to be compiled in the SAIThrift server stage, not the libsai stage. So that's my working hypothesis. And if someone wants to take that next step and try that, or I can take a stab at it sometime. But it's kind of a SAIThrift server build issue, I think. Maybe
And the goal is.
I was going to ask maybe someone from Intel can take a look at that if they'd like to weigh in on this.
Sure, we can take a look.
Does it make sense what I'm saying, Reshma? That if it's not needed for production, then the SAIThrift server build should solve it, not the libsai.
The libsai today has any component for non-production stuff? Any other test harness, or is this the only thing that's there? We can look into it for sure.
I'm not sure I follow. What was the question again?
So you want to remove this from libsai because this does not concern with the production part, right?
Yeah,
it's only a test part. Okay.
And I found empirically that I needed to link the SAI meta objects into libsai, and that's why I came up with this makefile. But now that there's many participants, they're saying, hey, this really shouldn't be part of the production libsai. Don't make it be required to live there. And the only place it can live then is in the SAIThrift server build. It could compile and link those parts. I don't think this is a difficult issue. It just requires some probably changes to the SAI repo. But I don't want to just willy-nilly go in and do that. I wanted to get some other eyes on this.
Okay, we'll take a look at this one.
Okay, and I'm going to update this experimental branch of mine with the latest move to SAI master. I'm doing that right now, trying to build it. And that provides a launch point. And if there's someone on your end who wants to look at this or wants to reach out to me and collaborate, I can work with that person too. But I figure since Intel kind of did a lot of the work on the SAIThrift server, I don't want to barge in and make changes out of ignorance.
Sure. We'll talk to Yuri if we can sync up with you on this one.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. And did we work on this one at all over the last 2 weeks? 390 about the metering, Vincent and Prince. Did you guys get together offline?
No.
No? Okay.
I think Prince was to respond offline in this issue, I suppose, but I don't think he has had time.
Okay. Great. Okay. So let's see. Does anyone have anything else for today? No, and I don't think we have. Maybe we have someone new on the call. Rao Narashma. I don't know that I've seen you here before. If you're there, Rao. Okay. Oh, hi.
Hi. So I was there a long time back, but
long time. Okay.
Yeah, recently I was at the SmartNIC Summit and I'd seen the interest group again, so I thought.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have any questions or anything?
No, not today.
Okay, great. And where are you coming in from?
I'm a solutions architect at Napatech.
Napatech. Oh yeah. Okay, I remember. Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have for today, guys. I can go ahead and stop the recording. And I will send out notes.